Hello, America. This is Call of Duty Goddess. Today is September the 21st, 2016. It seems a black man was shot by a police officer yesterday late in the afternoon in Charlotte, North Carolina. There is outrage in the streets right now as of last night, and many things are happening. So let's get a good look at this situation, what's unfolding, and let's see if we can find what is behind this situation, if there is anything.
We got shots fired. One suspect down on Legacy Court.
Breaking tonight, a man shot and killed by police.
Shot my daddy for being black.
The cracker killed him because he was scared of it.
Right now, live team coverage as protesters take to the streets and police work to ease racial tensions.
There are two conflicting stories at this point. Police say the man who was shot got out of his car and pointed a gun at officers. But that man's family says he was shot while sitting in his car waiting for his child to get home from school.
Dozens of protesters shut down the street tonight. The headline coming out of that protest at this hour, an officer was injured in those protests. Dan, what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, guys, it was a pretty chaotic scene earlier. We could see the crowds of people kind of marching down the street, throwing water bottles even as police in riot gear kind of tried to block the street and kind of control that crowd. I'll let you take a look from where we're at right now. This is on Old Concord Road. We're a little bit further down. We kind of moved down the street to stay away from that situation. You can see there are still some police officers here barricading that part of the road, keeping people from driving in. So let's talk a little bit more about what exactly happened. Police sources confirmed to us that the officer who fired his weapon earlier today is Brentley Vincent, and they say that he is African American.
Now, according to this report, Officer Brentley Vincent is African American. Here's another photo of Officer Brentley Vincent in a football t-shirt, and here's another photo of him.
Now, the person who was shot and killed has been identified by police as Keith Scott. Cops have been out here throughout the night, keeping the crowd under control, as I said, blocking off this street here at different times throughout as this aftermath from this shooting continues.
Now, Keith Scott is the man who was fatally shot by police Tuesday afternoon at an apartment complex in Charlotte, North Carolina. Keith Scott's family says he was disabled. It seems that officers were attempting to serve an arrest warrant on another person, but the man who got shot, which was Keith Scott, was not the person they were attempting to take into custody. Police told the newspaper Scott was armed and a gun was recovered at the scene by detectives. Scott was taken to a local hospital where he died. Police say that Scott refused repeated demands to drop a handgun and was shot. Neighborhood residents say Scott was unarmed when he was shot to death. Court records indicate that Scott had a criminal record, including an assault conviction. Mecklenburg County records matching Keith Lamont Scott's name and birth date show Scott was charged in April of 2004 with multiple counts, including felony assault with a deadly weapon. Records show that most of the charges were dismissed, and he pleaded guilty to a single charge of misdemeanor assault with a deadly weapon. The North Carolina chapter of the ACLU urged Charlotte police to release any footage of body or dashboard cameras of a fatal shooting this week. The ACLU noted that a new North Carolina law restricting release of such footage doesn't take effect until October 1st. That new law says footage from police body or dashboard cameras can't be released publicly without a court order. That is a strange and frightening law, folks, especially if you live in North Carolina. Charlotte's police chief has said the officer who shot Scott was not wearing a body camera, but the police chief also says he cannot release body camera and dashboard camera video from other officers because of the ongoing investigation.
You just know that all white people are devils.
And make sure you air that one.
Air that.
Don't take that
All
one.
white cops are devils and white people.
That was the brother of the man shot and killed by a CMPD officer late this afternoon. Police say...
Now, what I find incredibly odd about this situation is the family members of the man that was shot and killed automatically come out and say that the officer that shot him was white. They're automatically putting a racial bias on this, when in fact, the man that shot their loved one was black. Why are they talking race instead of talking police? That seems to be an ongoing theme with these shootings. And there are many other ongoing themes and connections that I would like to show you. Now we'll start with how many people in America were shot by police on September the 20th. I'm at Killed by Police 2016. There seems to be 6 people that were shot by police on September the 20th, 2016. Now, out of the 6 police shootings yesterday that occurred, the suspect in Colorado was not identified. In Tennessee, you have Sandy Joe Duke. Of course, there's Keith Lamont Scott. The suspect in Connecticut that was shot, his name was given, but there was no photograph available. In Tennessee, we have Charles Dove, and then in Florida, we have Joshua Scott. Now, that reoccurring theme seems to be something that happens each time, is that on a daily basis, you see more white males getting shot by police than black males, but there's a larger population of whites. I'm not going to bother with doing the math on that, but you can see that there were white men shot on that day in different states as well. So let's get to another ongoing theme, and that seems to be our Attorney General. Attorney General Loretta Lynch says the police shooting deaths in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Charlotte, North Carolina are highlighting the most vivid and painful divisions that persist between law enforcement and communities of color. Lynch made her comments at the beginning of her address at the International Bar Association conference in Washington. She says the Justice Department has opened a civil rights investigation into the death of Terrence Crutcher in Tulsa, and the agency is in regular contact with Charlotte authorities as the investigation begins there. Now, to go with the ongoing theme of Loretta Lynch, we have President Barack Obama. Just like peanut butter and jelly, or as far as Gump says, peas and carrots. The White House says President Barack Obama has called the mayors of Charlotte and Tulsa to get an update on protests after fatal shootings involved police officers and a black victim. The White House says Obama expressed his condolences to both mayors and affirmed the administration's commitment to provide assistance as needed. The White House says Obama will continue to get updates on the situations from Attorney General Loretta Lynch and White House advisor Valerie Jarrett. I think she might be the bread that goes on the peanut butter and jelly, because it's kind of a threesome in there. So let's check this out. Oh yeah, I seem to remember doing a video here titled Full Circle BLM and the Global Police Force. And that mentions, as you can see in this photo here, Valerie Jarrett, Loretta Lynch, and Barack Hussein. Peanut butter and jelly on the sandwich. This is a video where I showed in 2016 how Barack Hussein Obama, along with Valerie Jarrett and Loretta Lynch, used the Hegelian dialectic to try to take our guns, and how they did it. Let's just go over that real quick. January 5th, Obama balls about gun control. February 17th, he invites Black Lives Matter and many other activists for a meeting. May 17th, he invites them back again. May 24th, he has an about face and raises the white flag on gun control. And of course, that's after he planned his little scheme with Black Lives Matter for everyone to go around the country and cause chaos and shoot things any way they possibly can. Just this past week, there were hacked messages from Black Lives Matter leader that reveal Obama administration's plans for the summer of chaos and martial law. We have the casting call for extras and actors during Cleveland Republican National Convention violence. From today, new Black Panther Party says to carry arms to Cleveland if legal. Indiana thug wearing Black Lives Matter t-shirt opens fire on police officer's house. Leader of black militia group with ties to Dallas cop killer threatens all-out war. Black Panthers announced their plan, get ready for martial law. Loretta Lynch tells Black Lives Matter to keep protesting cops and reminds them DOJ is their partner. We will continue to work with you. She doesn't want Black Lives Matter to be discouraged because she's got their six. And most importantly, let's not forget about this. And this is why I find this whole situation hard to swallow.
He's licensed, he's carried to...
And we will come to our complete 360 with the global police force to fight extremism in U.S. cities. And lastly, but certainly not least, on Megyn Kelly, one of the Chicago Black Lives Matter people, was on her show. Watch what she said.
We need to abolish the police, period. And demilitarize the police, disarm the police, and we need to come up with community solutions.
Now, from watching a small portion of that video that I posted 2 months ago, it's kind of like deja vu. Let me show you a few other things that are kind of like deja vu as well. I'm at the White House briefing room and I'm at a fact sheet here. The White House Police Data Initiative highlights new commitments, and that was from April 21st, 2016. The question is, how do we bridge these issues? Concern about fairness and concern about effectiveness and making sure that police officers get the support they need. That's why I set up a task force on 21st century policing last year that came up with detailed recommendations that departments and officers can implement to keep building trust. It talked about having open data and independent investigations to make sure the system was fair. Well, gee, that sounds really good. We have a black president and a black attorney general. They're really going to be looking out for the black people with this police data initiative, aren't they? So let's check out the committed police data initiative jurisdictions. Oh my goodness, would you look at that? Number 9, Charlotte, Mecklenburg, North Carolina. Gee, that name sort of rings a bell. Oh yeah, that's right. That's the place where all these riots are taking place. In Charlotte, Mecklenburg. Huh. Now, I wonder if this is something that is going to happen in all of the areas that are on this list, that are on this police data initiative jurisdiction. Are they set up to fail so that Loretta Lynch and Barack Hussein can put in their global police force? Would that be possible? Well, wouldn't you know it? Turns out I did a video on that 4 months ago, titled Federalizing the Police, a Stepping Stone to the Global Police Force. Yes, it seems that Loretta Lynch and the whole gang have a thing called Strong Cities Network that they launched about a year or so ago. And this is the most dangerous thing that you could ever imagine. Now, I've also noticed something really odd since I did this video 4 months ago, Federalizing the Police, a Stepping Stone to the Global Police Force, is that the Strong Cities Network, after this video, they had changed their website because they used to list all the cities that were in the Strong Cities Network. For some crazy reason, I haven't been able to find on their new website where they list all of the Strong Cities networks across the globe. So I'll just give you a little snippet of this video from before that showed a list of the Strong Cities network. Pretty frightening. Strong Cities network is the global police force. It would be so much easier to globalize the police force if it's already federalized, correct? So you need to have a little step process, or people may get wise to what you're doing. See, here are cities that are involved in the Strong Cities network. Atlanta, Georgia. Montreal, Canada. Mumbai. Denver. Paris. Minneapolis. Now, with this Strong Cities network, what kind of laws do you think they're gonna follow? Because being a police officer or a person that enforces laws, well, of course you're gonna have to learn those laws first before you can be expected to enforce them. Do you think that this network is going to learn our laws and the laws of the places that it's policing all over the world? I don't think so. I think they're going to make their own laws. I think they're going to go by a global law. But like I said, that federalizing the police force is just a stepping stone. And New York, look at that. Just a stepping stone into the Strong Cities network. Now, what Obama and his globalist buddies are doing is 2, 3, 4-fold. I mean, they're trying to take our guns. They are trying to set up a global police force so the UN can police us. And what that's going to do is when China and Saudi Arabia, the countries who we are indebted to the most, come here to get paid for what we owe them, that our politicians and presidents over the years has robbed us blind basically and borrowed money out of this world from China, Saudi Arabia, places like that. They're going to want payment. We have nothing to pay them with, but we do have very mineral rich land. We have plenty of uranium. We have oil. We have plenty of minerals that they want to get their hands on because it's owed to them. They want it. So how are we going to pay them back? We're going to give them the land. That's my thought. Now, people are going to get really angry when their land starts get taken away. Take, for instance, the people out in the West where the big land grab's going on. You see, that's where much of the uranium is. And uranium is going to be the way the future is going to be powered. It's going to be all mini nuclear plants. We'll get into that in another program. This is the most important thing. They're trying to take our guns. They're trying to set up a global police force. They're also trying to silence our First Amendment rights. But my main concern here is the Strong Cities network. It is the most frightening thing when you look into this, and it's so big. And now it's getting to be so secretive that it's getting very difficult to look into. So if you're in Black Lives Matter, and if you're actually buying the BS that they're putting out to you when they say that we need to get rid of the police, Obama, Loretta Lynch, none of them are going to get rid of the police because they are making a global police force. Now, my thought on this is I think I would rather back my local police than have a Russian or a German or someone from another country policing my streets. And if you think about it, If I wanted to rule the world, the police officers that I would have would be police officers from another nation policing other nations' streets. Because that way there's no nationality type of connection there. The police, if they're foreign agents, they're not going to give a crap about you. So if you are Black Lives Matter, if you are in on this and you believe that you're being wronged by the police, if you think these police that are fellow Americans are wronging you, you wait till a Russian polices your streets. With that being said, this is Call of Duty Goddess signing off, and as always, I've got your 6.